How's it going, YouTube? Raj here. Hope you guys are doing well. Today I am back with a fragrance review of a full bottle, something I haven't done on my channel in a long time. I like to introduce different types of videos to my channel to keep things interesting for you and also for me. Today is a fragrance review of a fragrance coming from the house of Chanel, and that is Bleu de Chanel. Bleu de Chanel. Some people pronounce it blue, which is what it means in French, but it is a French word, so bleu is how you would say it. Fragrance came out in 2010 and was created by Jacques Polch. Pricing of this one is at the higher end of the mainstream market. You're looking at, in pounds, around the 40 to 50 pound mark. In terms of notes, there is labdanum, nutmeg, ginger, sandalwood, patchouli, mint, jasmine, grapefruit, citruses, which are quite general, I suppose, vetiver, incense, cedar, and pink pepper. So before I kind of go into a full description of this fragrance, I feel I have to mention a couple of key words actually, and those key words are really the main good things about this fragrance. Keywords that come to mind: versatility, easy to wear. Versatility in terms of seasons, apart from winter, I would say. In terms of occasions as well, upscale, casual, work scent, perfect for work. Inoffensive, nothing particularly creative, but very wearable. And yeah, it has a mass appeal factor in terms of people who are likely to buy this and people who are going to smell this on you. Another word I would say is nondescript, which is not something which is a good thing when you're trying to review a fragrance. But I feel with this fragrance, and sometimes many other fragrances in the mainstream market, is that many of the notes are like stuck together. They're like glued together, and it's difficult to kind of discern or pick up on particular notes and accords. But I will try, and there are some which you pick up. So what do I get from the opening of Bleu de Chanel? Well, you get a kind of grapefruit note, which you would have smelt before in other Chanel fragrances. It's not particularly bright and fresh. It's actually quite subdued. But I think it's actually quite subdued because it's surrounded by more darker, earthier notes in the fragrance. More spicy notes as well, coming from the pepper. Not a black pepper, nothing too heavy. This is kind of a bit fiery, also coming from the nutmeg and ginger. But you can never say that those notes stand out as such. It's more of an amalgam of all these spices in one go. As this fragrance develops, you really get a kind of really earthy accord. It's a vetiver note. It's nothing too pronounced, but it's definitely kind of a wet, earthy type scent. It keeps it very masculine, I would say. Kind of like a damp earth type scent. You also get a bit of the wood notes in here, which added a kind of another dimension to this fragrance. It keeps it interesting, and that goes on for a good few hours. The fragrance is quite simple overall, but there is a bit of complexity involved as the fragrance develops. Now, they say they have incense in here. Well, what I get really is a kind of a musky, warm skin scent. When I say skin scent, I mean the way warm skin smells. After you've been maybe at the beach or something like that day on a hot day. That's kind of what I get with this fragrance, and I think really it's coming from the incense and the vetiver kind of intertwining and really giving this effect to this accord. It's a nice dry down to this fragrance. Really, I feel the best parts of this fragrance are to be found in the opening and in the middle of this fragrance. Also, another thing, a note which I've picked up in warmer months is a floral note. It's nothing overpowering. It's nothing which is likely to put off many men who might be looking at this fragrance, but it makes it quite appealing, I would say, for a kind of feminine audience. And I think there's a jasmine note in here which actually comes out in the summer when your body warms up. The jasmine note comes out and blooms a little bit. It's not the most pronounced jasmine note. It's not the most sweetest kind of bubblegum style jasmine, which is what I find that note to smell like. But it's definitely in there. They say, I think they get it from, if I'm not mistaken, from Grasse in France. I don't know the quantities they've used in this, but it's definitely nothing overpowering. So that's it pretty much with Bleu de Chanel. There's a lot of other notes and accords going on in here which I just can't describe. I find it almost impossible to describe. Sometimes you find that with mainstream fragrances, the notes are kind of stuck together and it's difficult to pick out individual notes. But it's easy to wear, it's easy on the nose. It's kind of a no-brainer really when you're buying this fragrance if you are somebody who is casual about fragrances. If you like to have maybe just one fragrance or maybe 5 or 10 maximum, you would have to have this in your fragrance. This is just a necessity. It beats a lot of other mainstream fragrances out there on the mainstream side of the market. But if you are somebody who is a fragrance connoisseur, you love your fragrances, you have a huge collection, you could easily live without this in your collection. It's nothing to get too excited about. But I feel for me, I still like to have this in my collection. I don't describe myself as a collector. I just have a large collection, if that makes sense. But I think it's a great addition to my collection. I probably would buy it again. It's nothing outstanding, but it's just so easy, and I wear this a lot to work. In terms of performance, well, it does last long, not a huge amount of time. You're getting about 4 or 5 hours of noticeable performance. In the final few hours, it becomes a skin scent where that warm skin musk accord comes into play. Projection is noticeable for the first few hours, and that's usually when I get the most amount of comments on this fragrance. Not too much attention, but some people have noticed it on me. And then it becomes a skin scent, and people will only smell it when it's closer to you. You can be a little bit more aggressive on the sprayer, 6 or 7 sprays. You're not going to be stinking out the place. It's not one of those fragrances. Sprayed on clothes, maybe on your shirt collars or your lapels on your jacket, and this will last into the next day. I think I've mentioned everything now. In terms of rating, I'm going to give Bleu de Chanel 7.5. It's a solid score. It's a solid fragrance. It's an enjoyable fragrance, pleasant, but doesn't really push the boundaries. It has a wearability factor, but at the expense of creativity, which is actually a topic I'll mention later on in one of my videos. So overall, 7.5. I enjoy it. I think it's better than a lot of the other fragrances from Chanel in the men's line, which are starting to get a little bit boring, I feel. It's worth owning. So let me know what you guys think. Do you like this? Do you think it's boring? Some people say it's another generic fragrance. Some people don't have any time for this. Some people love it. And I think this comes in a 200 ml bottle, and some people I know have this. So yeah, let me know your thoughts, guys. And thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.